to a Render Spaz video tutorial, and today I got a special tutorial for you. We are going to create this wonderful looking Stanley Tumbler. I've been getting a lot of requests about creating consumer products and products like this that are very popular. So I figured, why not? Let's actually give you something really valuable here and create this wonderful looking render here that you see in front of you here. So we're going to focus today on creating the entire mug from scratch based off a reference image, and we're going to go through and do the coloring and the textures that you see, and I go through some of the subsurface materials as well, and just take you through the whole process. This part here, it's a little more complex of a part, so I do speed up the video a little bit once I start kind of forming this, just so that the video is not going to be too long, but it's enough that you'll get the point of what's happening there. And then we just go through and do a couple shots here, and hopefully you can learn something from this and take it and start building your own products and render something kind of nice, like these nice little studio shots. Alright guys, let's get started, and see you in the next part. Alright guys, so we're going to start to add in our main shape here. And so what I've done was, with the for this tumbler, is I just added a reference image behind here as an image plate. And if I unfreeze this real quick, just to show you guys, freeze all. And what I've done was, the image size was exactly the 1500 by 701, and so I applied that to a plane and then just dragged in the image here. And then I just set it up like this so that it's in the center, because we're only going to be focusing on the one side here at some point where this part gets a little bit cut off. But that's pretty much it. So with the plane setup, that's pretty straightforward. And then I'm just going to make sure we're frozen here and we're not showing it gray. And this way it's locked in, we can't move that. And we can start to build our tumbler here. So what we're going to do is focus on the center area here of the grid. And we're going to just drag out a cylinder. Okay, let's go like so. Up. And I'm just going to use a bluish color. Okay, and what I want to point out here is that this image has a little bit of perspective to it. So we're going to see some distortion here, where we are working off an orthographic view. So that anybody that is not aware, or is a beginner in 3DsMax, we are going to have to ignore some of these distortions and just kind of get an estimate of where these shapes would actually curve out and in. And so pretty much as I go along here, you'll see what I'm talking about. So right now we got this cylinder in. I'm going to call this base, our body. And we are going to do 12 sides. So we're looking at it like so. I'm going to center this guy in the grid here by right-clicking and make sure you're in 0 for all of these. So this is in the center. Okay. And now we can begin to edit our shapes. We're going to get an editable poly. Alright, in the modifier stack here. We're going to grab our points. And we're just going to drag this like so. So we're uniform. Okay, so we're using that scale tool. And we're just going to try to get this shape to work out. Okay. And what I want to do is I'm going to take this face out. I'm going to delete that face out. We're going to come over to the bottom here. And we are going to cut here to here. Okay, I'm going to go cut across and here as well. Okay, for now. Okay. We can also come down here and use the chamfer tool and bring this up. Let's make sure we're completely selecting the edges here by double clicking. And we're just going to let's see, let's use try for now. So we just get a rounded edge, something like this. Might need to be a little bit sharper. So let's bring it down. Should be be okay for now. Okay, so back up here, we are going to hold the shift button, or shift, not the button. We're going to hold the shift, the mouse. Okay, and we are now dragging up and just drag out like so. One more time, and I'm going to drag it up. Just going to bring this guy a little bit more down so we can exaggerate this curve just a bit. And then we're just going to go all the way up, holding shift. Maybe I'll add one here. Just one segment there for a edge. And also here as well. And then we're just going to include this metal strip across, so I just want to have that like that. And holding shift again one more time, we can now get our separate pieces to the top. Okay. So if we go to the top view, everything should be uniform, and that's good. If there's any distortion or anything that you see that's bent or weird like so, or like even if you had something like this, then it means you've obviously moved some vertices that you shouldn't have. You want to keep everything uniform so it's nice and round, okay? So once we apply, we got enough of our body shape here, we can apply our, I'll use the open subdivisions. Okay, you could use Turbo Smooth if you like. All right, Turbo Smooth also is a very popular one to use. I'm going to use open subdivision. So right now you can see we got a little bit of, we're a little bit shy here of the body. So what I'm going to do is try to get this to come out just a little bit more. So we're going to have to grab these edges. Actually, we're going to grab the whole entire face like this. And now just drag this kind of out. There we go. You can see we're already exaggerating that curve there, and that's good. And we might need to bring this out just a bit too as well, because it's a little bit skinnier down there. So let's just bring this out a little bit as well. Now we grab these guys. This is such a popular tumbler, so it's kind of fun to be able to 3D model this product. Alright, so what we're seeing here is some, let's just increase this a little bit. It actually looks better right now. You know what, we're going to be okay, but usually when we see these darker, shadowy areas here, we need to add some extra edge loops to tighten it up a bit and make it a little bit more dense. But we're going to do that later on. We just want to get a general shape for now. And this, let's see here. Actually, I wouldn't mind actually adding one right here. So I'm going to select this edge here, and then we're going to hit ring. We're going to connect. We're going to drag this down on the edge, okay, constraint, so that way everything's locked in, right? Because if we were to not do that, we're going to see this bend around. It's just going to fold. It's not going to look right. And actually, now that I'm thinking about it, we do want to actually keep it like this because I do want to actually round this off. So for this particular move that I'm doing here, this actually works. But a lot of the times I'll use edge constraint to constrain so that if I need to add an additional edge but without messing with the surface, I can do that. Okay, so that's just for anybody that's starting out in 3ds Max. This actually works because it is rounded down here, and so we do want to kind of bring that together. So if you go like so, you're going to see that kind of rounds off now too, and that's accurate. Okay. All right. But up here, we can add an extra loop. So what's happening is because we don't have an edge here, a supporting edge, we're going to see it kind of just really be like soft here, and it just kind of curves a little too much. We want to straighten it out. So to straighten that out, we're going to need to add an additional edge here. So let's connect. Now I will use the edge constraint because I do not want to move this area here. I just want to bring this down and tighten it up. So as I do that, you will see this starts to tighten that area up a little bit, and we might even have to grab this guy. So let me just put on the cage so you guys can see. So if we have the cage on here, we're going to see the orange is going to be the low poly frame here. So when we're moving this, we can kind of see what we're doing. And click on that one. So when it goes yellow, that means it's selected. So we can just kind of move these guys around. So we get something that looks cool. Okay, I'm just going to try to keep things a little more even here. So just between these two guys. And that should do it. Okay, so up here we have a couple of cuts that we're going to have to do. So we're going to do that now. Actually, I want to just bring this guy a little bit. It's a little too high. Let's just bring it down. We got to keep in mind that we do have in the reference image here, we do have it indent like so, and then we have an edge that comes up here and as well here. So let's bring that all together. So what we're going to do is we will separate this component here. So I'll hold, let's get off the cage here real quick, and what I'll do is we're going to ring, we're going to hold control and click on the polygon tool, and then this will give us a strip like this. Okay, so let's do a let's see how I want to do this here. Let's do an inset because we're going to want an edge like so, and let's extrude. I might actually do a bevel. And actually, we want to bevel by the local normals, so everything is uniform. Okay, so as you can see, it's uniform. If you do it like this, if you do it by the group, you're going to get it doing this weird kind of stuff, right? So we want it to be local normal, so we can bring it in like so. I might even hit the plus sign one more time. And I just want to drag this slightly up so we get a little bit of a bend. And then we just need to do one inset here. So go to inset, and let's go like that. So we have an edge here, and it should just taper around. So let's actually, and while we're at it, we will detach this piece. Okay, so it'll be a separate element. So I'm going to detach. We're going to call this, I don't know, metal strip. Sure. That's a separate piece. We're going to copy over our open subdivision and we'll paste it in here like so. Now we got that all separated. What's neat is that we are taking in consideration that we do have that curve going in and bending out, so we have a little bit of an inset there, and that's what we're looking for that strip. Okay. I think this will work. So up here we have the edge that seems to be quite rounded. So if I look at it in this way, I think we can see that we do have the edge comes out here, the lip. So we just got to make sure that we round this off around the top here. So let's get into the top part now. Actually, what I can do is select this guy. Okay, so if I select him. Okay, all the way around. I hit row so we get all the elements. Okay, and now we're going to detach this guy. me just grab all of these guys. I'm just gonna center everything. Alright, so we're going to need to add some thickness to this guy, right? So let's do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over to the modifier stack. We're going to hit shell. And we are just going to, we're going to go with the inner amount. And we're going to just bring this. So. What's interesting is I want to make sure that nothing's getting too messed up when it comes to down here. It should be okay. It should be okay. We can fix this. So what I'm going to do is go for the edible poly here. Because now that we have our thickness here, I think that might be maybe a little too thick. So let's just bring it down. It's 0.3. 0.4. Let's go 0.4. Let's grab this edge here. Let's remove it. I don't really need any of these additional pieces here. So if I can just have a look here, I just want to clean this up. Alright, so we have something like this. Need any of this. So we're just going to clean it up so that we have this edge remaining, but everything else should be removed. And then what we can do is click on this guy here, double click, it'll give us a loop. We're going to chamfer, or not extrude, sorry. We're going to chamfer here just to get an edge going. Okay, and we can do it here as well. I'm going to come up on the top and we're going to do these both. We're going to chamfer them. Bring it up a little bit more like that. Now if we add the open subdivision, we should get a nice edge all the way around, and we do. Okay. Oops. Yeah. So that one's finished. We can do the same thing here as well with this. I don't know. With the strip, I think we're going to get away with just adding a shell. We're going to have to do too much to that one. Put it underneath. What do we get? I think we're going to be okay. Increase this. Everything looks to be still good. Okay. Good. So let's go back to 2 for now. And let's now add a shell modifier to this as well. So we have the inside now. Okay. 0.4 seems to be good. Oh, do I have soft selection on here? Oh, I see what's going on. Okay. Actually, I'm going to keep it underneath here. And let's just do an adjustment. So I'm going to come over and let's isolate this area here. And all I want to do is just add an extra edge here. So if I go to edible poly here on top of the shell modifier, we can now select this edge here. Oh, we got this. So let's remove a couple of these guys so it's not too so do I want that one or this? Get rid of this and get rid of this one as well underneath. All of those. Get rid of all of those. Let's just grab this guy and hit chamfer. So go and try. This is the wrong one. something like this. I might want to just increase this one to 8. Now let's go 6. So we have this. Now what we can do is actually we can start to kind of just add some colors in here to change it up, just so we can see what we're doing. And we can go with that. And now we have these elements. Okay. So we've got the body, metal strip, whatever you want to call it, or metal ring. And we have this part here. So actually, what I did realize with this is we need to, we're going to need to actually, this is the top section. This shouldn't be like this, so I'm going to just fix that up. All right, so we have to actually have a come up. Oh, I see. Okay, so let's do this. Let's ring. Sorry about that. So when we're doing this top section, we need to obviously bring the lid, right? So we have to actually combine all this and close it off here. So we can't have it like this. This is wrong. So I'm going to hit ring, and let's get rid of these faces. Let's make sure we don't have anything else in there. Okay, we don't. Good. Okay, this would be pretty easy. It's not a big change at all, really. It's just that we need to like this. So I'm going to scale this like so, because if you notice, it does, I believe, taper inwards. It doesn't go straight down. It kind of angles a bit here, because based off this top image, you can kind of see it, but you can see where the light bends here. So if it was straight, the light would be bending over here. So you can see there's a curve here. So what we're going to do is make sure we have that in there. So we'll go to the top view, bring this like that. So I'm assuming this is the line right there. I don't know if you guys can see that faint line. So we can get something roughly like that. And then we're going to bring it up. Oops. Hold shift and drag down. Time. Collapse. Okay, collapse. Fix this up. Let's remove that vertice, actually. Cut this. Okay. So let's have a look. Now we're starting to see something close to this. Alright? So we go to the top. That's pretty good. Okay, but I think the edge, I need maybe another reference image here. That's pretty good. This is a little bit too thin. So when we have that going on, we just need to add an edge here. And that's pretty much it. If I maybe scale this just slightly this way a bit, so you can really see that. Okay, chamfer this. Okay, let's have a look. There you go. Get that edge in there. Okay, so that's good. Okay. So this is looking pretty good now. So really now we just have to, we can work on the handle and get that in. And what's great about the handle is we don't have to extrude out of this body part here. We just have to technically build its own piece, and it does wrap around. We got to keep in mind it does kind of fold around the curvature of the body itself. So we just got to make sure that we do that correct. But this is a pretty straightforward thing here. So let's do this really quick. So let's go to our top view here. I just want to get something in place here. So I'm going to just go with a box. Okay, we're just going to start off with a box shape, like so. Drag it out, and let's just bring it up to get to about here. Okay, we're going to get some height going. Actually, going to go this way. That's right. Get roughly in the position that we want. Okay, once we have that in place, convert this to editable poly. Okay, let's actually center. I always like to do that right away. Center into it. Okay, now, center that pivot. We're going to delete that face out. And we're going to also delete this face. Okay, so we just have this wrapped around like this. This way, when we grab the edges, okay, if we ring or like so, we can chamfer and we'll get a nice edge going. Before I do that, I just want to make sure I try. Oh, I just lost my. Like so. Okay, and you can see where the bend is. You see where that light kind of just, there's a line there pretty much. So you can kind of see that. So we're going to just get a match. Okay, this is a little bit more rounded at the bottom here, so we got to make sure we keep that in mind. And what we can do with that is just grab these edges here, and I guess we could just bring it up like this, and right here I would say let's connect. I don't know if that's completely flat. It might have a little bit of a, yeah, something like that. A little bit of curvature there. So brought that edge down just a bit. So you get something like this. Got a little bit of a bend. Okay, and it should do. So what we're going to do is hold Shift, drag to this point here. Okay, so where it starts to curve. Okay, we can now add one more and go down. Now we're going to rotate. I'm just going to roughly put it in place here like this. We're going to kind of come over here and hold Shift, drag it out. One more time. Okay, we're going to worry about the scale. I think this actually scales up a bit. Let's do it. You know what? Let's just do it now. Let's just grab these guys and let's just do it now. So I think it widens out in there, that area there. Yeah, it does. So it gets like it's thin here, it's thicker in this area for the handle. So for the area where you're going to grip it, you need it to be a little bit wider there. So I'm just going to try to get this all in place here. Shift the drag down. Roughly about here. So what I'm going to do is just look here. I think that's pretty close going all the way around. You can see it is thicker there. It gets a little bit wider here. I don't know if that's correct. Also, let's make sure that this is looking good, and it is. Wonkiness going on. So, go here, here. Let's scale this down just a bit. Okay. Let's copy this guy over. Blue. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to add a symmetry. So we're going to call this handle. Oops, right. Now we're going to add a symmetry modifier here. So let's symmetry. Okay, what? We need to go on the Z. Just bring it down. Okay, and what we're going to do is just try to get this roughly in the spot we need it to be, which is about here. Okay, and so what I'm noticing is it looks to me that this part here is obviously it's not completely uniform or symmetrical to this upper part of the handle. So this part tapers down and it looks like it tightens up here. And so there's a little bit more of a difference to the spacing. But that's okay. We're going to do all the rest of the changes up here, and that's going to apply down there, which is what we want. And then for our final touch, we're going to make sure we get everything in place, okay? So, let's go in here, grab this guy and bring it down. And what I want to do is go to the front part here, and let's just take these guys and then just bring them in. See? So if I was to do that, what do we get? Yeah. Okay. Whoops. Let's grab this. Actually, let's make let's grab this edge here, hit ring, and connect. And that way we can fold this edge and these edges. Like that. Bring this inwards like this. So now what we're doing is we're just trying to create that curvature that I was talking about here, where this does curve. I don't know if, or did I mention that or not, but there's you can see that the edge here, it does curve. So we want to do that here as well. And just kind of get it in shape. And then what we're going to do is, because this is like attached, it's not part of the body, just want a little bit of an edge in here. So we're going to hold shift and drag inwards, and hold shift one more time, drag it in. Okay, so we get something like this. Oops. We're going to grab this edge, we're going to hit ring and connect. Just tighten that up, actually. Let's hit connect again one more time. Let's just use the slider here. And that way everything just kind of stays uniform. So now we're just going to grab this guy here and just bring that in. Yeah, make some sound effects to that. Let's grab this guy, grab that guy, bring it out. Let's just have a look here. Just make sure nothing looks strange. We do want a little bit of a breakup in there. That's looking good. Now it's done it to this side down here as well, and that's why I wanted to keep the symmetry going here. But as we look at the reference images here, you can see that there is, I believe there's some difference there, or maybe I am wrong. Maybe because of the image, it's the distortion. That's, again, that's the thing you got to just be careful of. That you think that might be the way the shape is, but it actually is not. And you can see there's a little bit of distortion. Now, I could be wrong with this, but I don't actually own one of these Stanleys, so I'm assuming that would be, maybe it is completely straight like this. Okay, so there is some difference. There is some difference, but the difference is not that it, I think this, what happens is this part here has to come up. It's not, the elbow area here has to actually come up. So I think at this point what we can do is go to, let's create a FFD stack. Let's try bringing this in. And now we're going to get these points. And now what we could do is maybe just bring, let's see, just bring these guys upwards. No. Let's see. So if we rotate this, what do we get? So I don't think we want to rotate it. I know there is a little bit of an angle there. I mean, I guess at this point we can just grab. We don't have to go. We don't have to use the FFD stack. So let's just use the edible poly. Just, yeah, above the symmetry. Okay. At this point, we're just gonna bring these guys upwards. This whole corner will have to come up. This guy will come up as well, but we want to keep that there. I might just clean this up a little bit with just kind of rounding this off a little bit more, keeping it more neater. Tidy up. I think that's the shape more or less than it is. Okay, so I think there was a difference. There is an angle here for sure, because I've looked at some other reference images and noticed that. So it seems to be straight here and then angled downwards a little bit here. Very subtle, but you can see it actually here. It's just that this there's a little bit of distortion, so it kind of looks a little bit more funky. But other than that, I think this is right. A little more close to the design. Let's go to the top. Let's go to the grid here. And I want to center this out. Let's make sure it's center and make sure that in Y it's at 0. Okay, so that's in the center. So that's crucial. We want that at 0. Okay. So this is what we end up with so far, and so that's looking pretty good. Got this. Yeah, great. So I think the next part we just have to now have a look at what we're going to do here to finish this off for the modeling part of everything here. So looking at everything, I think that's that. So it's just this little clip part, and then we have the area where the straw is. We don't have to model in there. We just have to pretty much build in the straw that comes up. But mainly it's this clip piece that that we have to model. So let's see if I get some better images here. Let's drag these guys out. It's a little more clear. Let's bring it down here. It's the same image, but it's a higher quality. I'll find one more here so I can get a little bit more of an accurate design here. Alright, so just to examine this piece, it looks like, so we're only going to have to do one side and then add symmetry onto the other side. So that's pretty good. So it's really modeling this area here that we got to figure out. But it doesn't look like it's too difficult. There is some interesting shapes about it. But I think we can tackle it, okay? Not too worried about it. I'm just trying to think of the approach of what I want to start off with here. So, okay. So one thing we do have to keep in mind when we're creating this piece is that we have this pretty much, it looks like it'd be like a box. Okay, this blue part here would be a box shape with some rounded corners. and then we just want to make sure that it matches the profile to the gray piece here. So these guys line up perfectly all the way around. So we want to keep that profile. So what we're going to do is, let's see here. Let's go to our top view here. So I'm going to start off with, let's hide this. Actually, no, let's keep that up there real quick. I want to just get an idea of scale. Yes, this is rotated, but I'm gonna straighten mine out for now, just to get an idea of what we're trying to build here. So I'm gonna come in and go with let's go with a box. Try to just rough out where that blue clip would be, that blue piece. Okay, so let's drag this out. Z. So it gets to the top. Let's give it the blue. Something like that. So what I'm going to do is focus on, let's remove the bottom. Convert this to editable poly. Remove the bottom. I don't need that. Let's grab these edges. So hit ring. So that's going to grab all these edges here. Let's do a chamfer. There's our chamfer friend. There it is. We want to make sure that we're uniform across here and here as well, as we start to tighten this up. So roughly something like this. So now we have that part in there, so great. Okay, but to ensure that we're going to keep the profile, so when we're building this gray part, we need to, let's go here. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to wrap this, hit ring, hold control, click for the polygon tool, and we have everything selected like so. Okay. Now, let's see. Hold shift. Let's detach this. Let's detach this. Let's grab this piece here now. And what we want to do is, because when you go like this, we can extrude. Yeah, let's extrude the edges out. Something like this. I think that'll work. Bring that up. Okay, so actually this tapers down. Looking at it like this. What I want to do, I want to make sure that I am going to connect this here. Let's do it here as well. Actually, yeah, let's cut it here. I'm sure there's so many different ways of doing this. I'm just going to do this quickly. Just stop it here. Okay, let's see, and this one as well. This one. Oh, not that guy. Let's just remove that edge. So we get something like this. Now, I'm going to just remove this guy, because we don't need it anymore, and I want to also remove this as well. So now we have just this, because we can use symmetry to other side here. Actually, we set it up so that this will work a little bit more. Whoa, flip. Grab this guy. Let's do the same. Actually, I'll do that. There we go. So now we do have the matching profile, which is good, and that's what we want. So we don't have to mess with that. It's just going to be about the rest of this stuff. So we got to just kind of go up. So we're going to just go this way. Right, and then what we're going to have to focus on is this area here. So this area is going to come up. Where does it come up? It comes up right even towards the edge. So I would grab these guys like so. Yeah, maybe there. Let's go up. Try to angle that. Let's maybe do. We can tweak this a little bit later. So let's cut this out. Let's do a symmetry on this. Back like so. Okay, so I think we want to be roughly about here. Let's bring this guy up as well. Okay, this could be a little bit, you know, more of a challenge when you're doing this type of shape. I think we can get there. We just got a little bit of playing around here. So let's kind of round this up. This has to obviously. This is going to have to come up. I see. So this is going to have to come up. All these guys will have to come up. So this point, this point, this point. Up, and this one as well. This one. Okay, so grab all of these. Alright, so we're going to get into the rendering out the Stanley. So let's do this. So what we're going to do is unfreeze this guy. We don't need him. We have our product here. Okay. Actually, I'll keep the grid for a minute here. Okay, I'm going to just move this out of the way for now. Bring it back in as we go. And what we want to do is just straw. So what we're going to want to do here is we want to get the scale. So I'm going to group this real quick, just so we have it here as one. Center everything. Let's see what's going on. Reason why this is this way. Okay. So what we're going to do is we need to get the tumbler to be at 10.6 inches. So we're going to go to a box mode here, or add a box in, and let's just say 10.6. So really, it just needs to be, this is the height of it. This is how big we have everything. Just to make sure, we can go over to our unit setups here, and we're just going to use the generic units. If you want, you can get into the metric system as well. Okay, we're doing the centimeters. For now, I'm just going to use generic, and I'm going to make sure that this is inches as well. We're going to go do it this way. So our box is in here, so we just pretty much now have to scale this guy all the way down. Here, something like this. There you have it. That is to scale. So let's start to work on our materials here. All right, so let's bring up the Arnold render view, and let's get into. Actually, let's just save this out. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over to the Arnold light. I'm going to put this in here, and let's make this a sky dome. Place maybe somewhere over here in the corner. So it's a little bit out of the way. And what I want to do is bring up our material editor here, and now let's actually another thing I want to do is for render setups here. Let's just get that going. Should be good. We got an update as we are doing this tutorial. Big fan of updates. All right. What's the last thing? Okay, so let's go check this off now. Okay, so we're just going to come in and we need a texture file here. Let's bring in environment map. Let's bring in our studio again. Let's bring that in here. Let's change that, actually, sorry, change material type. Change this material to color correction. It's going to be Arnold. Keep saturation zeroed out. Let's go over here. Exposure. Let's bring it to 1 maybe. Okay, and then what I want to do is just change the scale of this guy. Faster renders going. Let's go into the light property here. Let's exposure to 1. So we get something like this. Actually, I just want to move this light around a little bit here. I don't know if I want it exactly 1. Let's go 0.2. Let's just start working with the materials, and then we'll move our lighting a little bit more appropriate to our material settings here. Okay, so right now I'm trying to think of a nice color we can pick for this that will stand out. I can ask, find out what is the most popular color. So let's just see. Let's go with the citron color. Okay, citron. So technically, the color that we are trying to pull off here is this one. Okay, so if we want to get a color match to this, we can do that pretty easy here. We can just go over, let's create a new material. Actually, I'm going to say, so materials, Arnold, surface standard. Let's just get a few of these guys going, so we can use them wherever we want. This one I'm going to say is a body. It's our body color. I'm going to drag that in. Okay, and so what we're looking for here is we're going to try to get a match to get it into this color. So what I like to do is come over here, I'll sample this color so we get something like this. You get it like that. We're actually pretty close already. And it's all going to be based now on our lighting to get it even closer than this. But this is a good start just by selecting it, and you get kind of a match. Maybe here, if you can see that we might need a little more saturation, so we can dial that in a little bit just to make it a little more colorful. But we're getting pretty close already. And we can use that, okay? So that would also be our handle as well. But the material itself, so it's two separate types of materials. One, it's the metal here, and then the other one is a plastic. So we're going to have to keep it the same color. So I'm going to copy this one over here, and paste it in here. We're going to bring this one over to this ID. And we're going to say object, but we're going to change this to handle. So you get something like this. Now, a handle would have a little more roughness to it. So let's just... So we don't want any metal in this. We're just going to get that out of here. And what I'm going to do is just going to... Seems to be okay. For that part. And then for the metal, we have to try to get this material to look a little bit more, it's going to have a little bit more of a bumpiness to it. So we need to add a bump map. I wonder if we can do this procedural. Okay, using a procedure map. So we can go over to and find normal map, Arnold. Let's go to texture, and let's do noise. Actually, you can't do that. You have to bump map. Keep it. Yep. And we're done. Okay, so looks like a brain. Okay, so what we're gonna do here is we need to bring this up. So you can see we get a lot of detail this way. So I'm gonna say maybe 2, right? And that just kind of gives us a little bit, flattens it out a little bit here. I'm going to keep it like that. I think what we need to do now is change our scale. So we go 5, 5, 5, and something like this. Probably going to maybe go 8 instead. So it's something like that. And then I'm going to use my good friend here, the range node. So to do that, you can just this here, range. Dial this back. So bring this up. Okay, and it's not that glossy. So we need to play with our gloss just a bit. Okay, so we can do that, no problem. Do something like this. We can bring it up to maybe 0.4. Yeah, we have a little bit of highlight, maybe even a little less. Let's try maybe 0.3. We'll bring this down. Actually, let's copy that and paste it here. I'm going to bring this back. Kind of going more of this tone. And I am going to now back down here. Height map. Bring this back to 1.5 and see what that gets. What does that get us? Well, okay, so we're getting something pretty good here when it comes to the material. Nice. Alright, that should work. Let's Still might be a little bit glossy. Yeah, because these are actually pretty matte. So when you actually look at there's not really a lot of gloss actually. Not like that. So let's go back and fix that. There's very little of that. So I'm gonna some of this back a bit more. Okay, that should work pretty good. Okay, even though that's, let's just see here. Okay, this is the one we want actually. Bring this in. Not this guy. I'm gonna go with something like that. It's a little closer. So we'll have to do that to our handle as well. Paste it in here. Maybe get a little bit of it. Okay, so then also we have this kind of like aluminum part where we'll have to add a little bit of something there. So we can do that. Let's put this down here. Just try this out. So I'm going to just go like this here, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up our metalness. Actually, let's bring this back more like this color here, something in this gray tone. Metalness is going to come up, so we're going to kind of like this, 0.6 or so. Okay, that seems to work pretty good. Need a real high-res image. Right, and it yeah, I think how I want to go about this one. So bring the metalness back up a little bit. Maybe darken this just a bit. Something like that. Okay, and then what we want to look for here is we're going to find a highlight, which is here. Okay, that's good. And we just want to have go into our, so we'll bring this out of the way for a minute here. Let's bring in some of this. So, yeah. Maybe a little bit of that going on. Seems right. Okay, so we're going to add just a bit of noise in here. I want to just break it up a bit. How I want to go about this. Let's see. Yeah. Okay, so we are going to go into our specular roughness here. Let's add in a noise texture. Yes. And so if we were to scale on the Y, something like this, we're gonna get, let's see, if I go 200, okay, 200, we're gonna get something kind of where we get these like little stretches going throughout. But we're gonna want to rotate this. Alright, so we can do that. Like this. So we can come in and this wrap this guy. So we're going to grab the band here. We're going to go UVW map. Cylinder. Okay, so what I want to do is grab the gizmo here. So we're facing the other way. Angle snap, so it's 90 degrees. So 90. Now we're going to fit. Hold on. Sorry, I'm doing this wrong. Okay, we're going to 1. There we go. So we got to do this on the Z. So 200 on the Z. Right now we're seeing that those lines there, but then what we got to do now is get this down just a bit so we see a little bit of breakup. Okay, something like this. Should give us what I got to do. Straighten that out. I need so a couple of things we got to do here. First off, I cannot see anything, so I got to just bring up the diffuse, or let's bring up their AA samples here to 5. Give us a little more detail there. There we go. Because of the denoiser working, we're not seeing the change. So, and I like to work with the denoiser on. You can take it off like this, just so you can kind of get an idea in a way what you're seeing, which is fine. Let's say. Okay, there. So we're starting to get there. We need a little less. So let's bring this down a bit more. See what's happening. Actually, I do want the highlight, but you know what it is. I don't want the noise. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to do another range. I'm just going to dial this back a bit. This noise is just a little bit too much, but I do like that nice breakup, and I like the highlight. So I'm going to go with a range here. And then let's just dial this back just a bit. And I guess in a way, what we were doing with the color value was good as well, but I think we can play with this a little bit. more and just get a little bit less of that map. So really, I just want a little bit, right? Something that's better. So really, in a way, we could probably just get rid of that. We don't really need the range. I'm going to keep it. Okay, so our next part, we want to do the lid here. So what I'm going to do with the lid is come up. Oh, no, I think we already have one here. Yeah. Let's try that in there. I'm going to add some subsurface to this because it does have some light that casts through. This is kind of neat. So let's see, we're getting a little bit of that there. That's a little much. So we're going to dial this back quite a bit. Let's maybe go with 2. We're starting to see it there. But we just want a little bit of subsurface. So I'm going to go 0.5 on the subsurface, but then let's go back up to our... The reason why I put it black is I want to see the result of where the black is and how it's behaving here. And so this way now, with this color, I can see now how much is being shown. So you can put it any color you really want to. But I'm going to now dial our white back in. Get something kind of like this. Okay, and I believe that should be enough to be believable. Maybe a little too strong here. You can see it's darker there. So that will just be getting our subsurface to be maybe 0.3. So we can... Now once we throw more light at this, it's going to light it up differently. So just keep that in mind with subsurface. Right now this might look good with this lighting, but once you start adding more lights, things will change. So, and I can demonstrate that by adding a quad here. Once I do that, you start to see, now this is really bright, so what we got to do, obviously, is dial this back. Yeah, actually, I think it is working pretty good. Okay, let me just really zoomed in here. Hold on a minute. So zoomed in, you're not seeing the proper image here. All right, so there you go. So you can see this is actually working pretty good. I'm pretty happy with this. And then if I bring in our reference images here, where are you? See, we get a little bit of that brighter spots there. Same with here. So that's pretty close to that. I maybe want to dial in a little more subsurface. I guess I can go like 4. And our scale, I think our scale is good. Let's just do some tests here. So 1. So if we go 0.1, let more light in, 0.05. Actually, 0.05 versus 2. I don't really see that much of a difference. Sorry, 1. There is some. Yeah, you can see it got darker there. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't do this right. 2. I'm too busy looking at the render view here. Whites. What's strange is that there, okay, that's working. Sometimes when I go click on here and input a number, it doesn't work until I click onto this and click back on here. I don't know if that's a bug. That's just my machine. That's starting to work now. Okay. So yeah, I think this is going to work. I mean, we get a little bit of some darkness happening there. That's just the nature. See, now here, it's not working. So I'm hitting backspace, I get nothing. I don't know if you guys are experiencing that or not. That's a strange, so I'm going to bring this back. It's 0.1. And then this is rubber. So really what we could do is I wonder if you could just use the handle texture or material here. No, you know what I'm gonna, because it's a rubber, I'm gonna bring this down here and see. See, rubber is a plastic. No, it's not rubber, it's plastic. So I guess it would be something very similar to the handle material. That's okay. We're going to have this separate just in case we need it. Okay, I think this, I don't know if this is rubber here. I don't own one of these, so I don't really know. But we're also going to have to make that guy separate as well. So this guy, okay, let's go bring this reference in. And that's just going to go with this green. So that one's going to have this color here. So it's a little bit, it's an off green here. So it's more of a bluish green, forest green, light forest green. I don't know if you would call it that, but it's probably one of their brand colors to use on other tumblers. So let's just do this. Let's grab one more of these. And I'm going to just sample this guy here. Just throw it on here. We don't have enough light going on right now, so we might have to just dial this back a little bit after, but if I copy this, come down, this down here. Let's say so we're going to have to just put some light up at it here just to kind of see what it's doing. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. Yeah. I think it just needs to have a little bit more color to it. It doesn't even really want the subsurface here. that. Okay, close. So our last bit will be the straw. And the straw is going to have, obviously, some subsurface as well. I'm not sure if it's the same material or not. I was going to say it would have the same materials as lid, but it doesn't. So we're going to fix that. So these guys, let's go off that and bring this in here to the straw. So our straw is not going to have all this gloss to it. So what we need to do is we're just going to smooth this out a bit. This. A little bit of subsurface. And I might even add just a bit of blue in there, maybe? Something like this. If we bring this down more, maybe get something like that. Really want to zoom in all the time. I wish I had almost like a real-time zoom or something that I just have to kind of close in like this. That's fine. Now this is still strong, so I'm not really wanting that to be like that. I just want it to be very subtle. Actually, no. I'm gonna go to a contrast here. Area that's going to work good for us here. Starting to get there. I can see what's going on. Another thing you could do is get the detail that you want in here. Come back up. Something like this. Let's add some coat. see it from a far away shot, so should make more sense. Okay. And then we pretty much want to add a little bit of bumpiness to our lid here. Alright, so let's do that, and then I think we'll be good to set up a studio shot, and then we just need to get the logo in there, and I think that will really help sell everything. Okay? So let's go here. I can see this is very shiny. I don't know how shiny this is. I'm going to look at for a reference image to see what that does for the top part of the lid here. I'm going to go to images and have a look on the other monitor here. Just want to see if I can find some. Actually, they are pretty shiny. Yeah. So let's fix that up. Something like 0.8. This band does actually have. The thing is, we are setting up a studio lighting, so we're going to have to make this look nice. If we do too realistic to this, it's not going to look so good when it comes to putting it in the studio. And there's a reason for it. You just want to have that softer metal. Something like this looks good. I don't know if you get what I'm saying here, is that you want it to, if it's too sharp of reflections, you're going to see all the HDR back there. We want this to be nice and diffused, but look like metal. And I think this is already selling pretty good. It's starting to look pretty good there. Okay. Alright, so we're just going to come here and borrow some of these this noise map here that I'm using for the bass. So I'm just going to grab this guy and this guy. Let's drag it out, holding shift, and now we can put it on the handle. So let's put our handle up. And let's just move this out of the way. We're going to come into our handle. Like so. This time, I think I just want this to be a little less. So let's put it like this. Okay, so we just get a little bit of noise. I'm going to bump it up just a bit. Okay, so you should be able to see it in a highlight somewhere here. Okay, let's just go over here so you can see. There we go. And now you can see a little bit of bumpiness going through here. It's very subtle, but I want it more than this here. Okay, and then you got that gap. I like that. Push it in just a bit. Something like this. We just want to see a little bit of the line. Yeah. And I noticed too, I got to add a detail right there. See what I can do here. Just a minute. Or what I might do is just leave it for this tutorial so it doesn't, it's so big, so long. So I'm going to do the logo over here. And also there's something, there's one over there as well. But I think that looking pretty good. Alright, so we're going to add the logo to the front part here of the tumbler, so let's do that. I'm going to clear these out. I just want to start clean here, and let's select the body, and what we're going to do is we're going to drag this out from here, and we are going to create a layer shader. We're going to put this in input 1. Input 2, we're going to create a new surface material. And then we'll just make this black. So we have this. Okay, so you have this guy that's tied in. Okay, so clean this up a bit. And then we have this guy here. So now what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to get our Stanley logo here. We're going to drag it over, and this is pretty much what we have here, black and white mask. And so this mask now we can apply to mix 2. So we'll do that. Now you're not going to see anything because you have to apply this layer shader, but you can see it is here. So now we got to just take the layer shader and apply it to the body. Our new updated material, and there it is down there. Okay, so you can't see it here, but if I was to select this, and now you can see it, we're just turning on our show shaded material in the viewport. So now we're seeing it like that. So what we're going to do is create a UVW map. Let's go to Y. And we want to make sure we are square, which we are, 27. So 100 by 100. Get something like this. Okay, and so what I got to do now is bring this up to a spot where I feel like it works. And we need to now try to find on the, it's going to be, sometimes a little too big, so we just got to drag it down and up. We're just going to get it roughly in spot. And I think this might work right here. Okay, and there we have it. Now we have the logo in place. So right now it's pretty glossy, so if we were to go to a certain angle here, you'd actually see the gloss. So I can spot where you can see this happening. You don't really see it too much here, probably because there's no light hitting it here. So as to going into our sky dome here, bring back this guy in here. We can cross so we see something here. So let's just rotate this. There we go. Now we see it. Let's dial this back a bit and let's go this way. So some roughness. A little bit of surface roughness here. Just something where you're going to see a little bit of highlight. But I'm gonna also say not 100% black. It's gonna bring it down maybe. So just so something feels a little more. Seems a little bit more natural. There's also a logo that's above into this area here. So I guess we can finish. So that looks like. I'm going to bring in my reference images here. We have one right there. So that's pretty much like an indent. So we could get away with an image map, and I'm thinking maybe a displacement on the negative might work. So let's try that. And let's just see if we gotta bring this guy in. Alright guys, so I'm applying a displacement map into here where we're using this mask as the displacement. So we have something like this, but what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to have a darker area inside here. Actually, if I invert this, what does that do? Yeah, I want it inverted, sorry. We want it indented here, like so. So you can see this nice rounded edges here, and actually that's looking good. But what it is that we need this to be a little bit slightly darker inside. So we are going to set up a layer shader again. Let's see if we can get this to work really good. So what I want to do is let's drag this out to a surface layer shader. Excuse me. And now let's drag this guy into X2 because we're going to now create. Actually, just want to drag this guy out one more time. Let's put this in the 1.2 slot. Okay, and we're going to be driving it with this one. And so now when we darken this, one thing you got to do is apply it like this. And now we darken this guy. Drag off because this is being used for our displacement, so we don't want this to be tied in here, so we're going to remove it, and then we're just going to bring this guy back in. It's X2, and what I want to do now is invert this part, okay? So there we go. So now we're having it like this. Okay, so it's just a slightly bit darker in there. It's going to show the logo off quite nice. Okay, I think at this point, 0.5, make it a little bit deeper in there. Should 0.4, should look pretty good. Okay, and then I'm just going to grab our noise. Noise into the normal as well here. Maybe a little too much, so I'm going to dial this back a bit. Let's see, 0.3. go. Alright guys, I think that's looking pretty good when it comes to modeling the sky. Okay, I'm going to create a camera, Control-C, create a camera based off of where you're at in the viewport. And now, let's just try to get the surface working here. Okay, standard surface. Let's go like that. What's going on down there? So here's the thing, we got a little bit of a tiling issue down there. So let's go back to our material here and make sure that we don't have that happening. We just got to come over to our map here and toggle off tile. Okay, and then that should be gone away. To our camera here. Let's get rid of that. Let's just move this guy back here like this. Let's be a backlight. Okay. Okay, what I'm going to do is take the diffuse off this one and just use it for some extra reflection here. Let's try to get it to about here. Okay, so around this, you can use this light also. do like it where it kind of lights up that edge there. Another thing we could do is take this side and flip it this way as a copy. We're just going to drag this across. So you can see what's happening here. Now what's happening is is this even working? I don't think it is. So go Y. Oh, that's loud. This is supposed to be here, so I don't know why it keeps snapping back, but okay. So light this guy up just a bit more. Have a little bit of shadow on that side. But I don't want a lot of diffuse, so I'm just going to kind of bring that down a bit. This is okay because I like to see the curvature a bit here. Get a little extra. The only thing I don't care for. Alright. So what this light is doing, it's lighting up our subsurface here. So we're going to just knock that completely out. We don't want anything to do that. So this way it's darker here, and that's good. This is lighter. And this is really bright. So there's a couple of things we could do. Come in here and select this material, straw material. Okay, and we can bring down a little bit of this subsurface so it's not so bright. Okay, so I can just darken this up a bit. Something like this. Let's desaturate it a bit more. Alright, let's give this thing a render and see what we got. Actually, before I do that, just gonna bring this back down a little bit more. There is that other piece there, but you know, for this part, I'm just gonna leave it out right now. Just get a render. So we're really just going to focus on the center part here. And there we go. Let's render this out and see what we have. Alright guys, so I was rendering out the Stanley Tumbler here, and I noticed a couple of things. One is I was lacking a light on this side of the tumbler. So I wanted to add this light back in. Right, because here's where our camera is. We can ignore that camera there. Here's where our camera is, and as you can see, I needed to add a light to kind of give a highlight. It just shows a little bit more roundness because the way I was going to render it, it was flat here. So technically, without this light, you notice it gets a little bit flat. Now, yes, we got a nice shadow. It's lit on this side, but also it's nice to light it also on this side as well and get a nice little balance here. Because these two lights will draw you into this logo. Things will look pretty good here. But the thing that I did notice is that this down in here is just too bright. And it gets washed out. You can't see that curvature and that detail, that lip that comes down. And I feel like this needs to be a little bit more defined. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over to the Arnold mixed map here. Okay, we're going to use an RGB mix node, and then what we're going to do is we're going to just come over and input one. We're going to apply our base color, so like this green here. And now we can use the mix to pretty much get us a ambient occlusion map as well. So I'm going to type in ambient occlusion, this. Okay, we're going to just drag it in place here in the mix slot. And so now you can see it's applied, but we got to just reverse what we're doing here. So we're going to make the white black and the black white. Okay. So now you're going to start to see some definition happening here with the mug or the tumbler. So now we just got to play with our fall off settings and try to get something that's going to not take in too much of the black. So if we bring down our spread a bit, you can start to see now it's really focusing on that lip now. It's very harsh at this point, but we just have to dial in the intensity or the values to get something just a little bit more, something like this. It's still a little bit dark, but you can see what's happening here as I'm adjusting. So I'm just going to kind of play around here and see what we can get. But I think that's starting to work. I think that's looking pretty good. Just wanted to use the ambient occlusion to give us that, so just soften up a bit. Just to give us a little bit of some definition down there. And I can really see that edge. And that, I feel like that's what they look for because they want to show the shape of the tumbler, and I think that's going to look good. Use some light down here. But at this point, I feel like for now, this is and I think this is a good time to render this guy out, and we can then adjust. Okay, I think this is going to work. Let's render it out. And here we are, guys. We are finished rendering out our Stanley Tumbler here. And as you can see, we got a pretty cool result. We got some nice detail from that noise map that we applied. And we can see now we got this little bit of grain going throughout. This is looking better now. We got a little bit more of a definition down here. Nice lights hits over on each side. The subsurface material's working really good, and yeah, this is pretty much it when it comes to that. I would just have to model in that one little section here, but I'm not going to do that in this tutorial. I am just going to go ahead and ignore it for now, and then I just did another shot up here where we can actually see some of that detail work that we did. This was a little bit of a process here to get that little clip part in. We got our straw with a little bit of blue in there, just a different material than the subsurface lid part, where it looks like it's a little bit transparency in there. You can see that right through there. So everything came together quite nice, and there, this gives you a better glimpse at the detail around the edging here, where you can actually see a little bit of that bump map. But yeah, that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching this tutorial, and hope you learned something from this as well, and just some tips and some tricks that you can do for yourself, or take on for yourself, and learn something there and try to apply that on your own projects. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you again on another Render Spaz video tutorial. Thanks guys.